going on, y'all? This your boy Caseville King Self for Life Wrestling Takes. Back again. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Before we talk about AEW, I gotta talk about Shane McMahon being released from WWE. Yes, the Shane McMahon who apparently came back and actually was behind the male version of the Royal Rumble. Vince released. Now, all I can say is it's just the WWE just one sad place to work. It's just one sad place to work, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. For some strange reason, people still prefer the E over AEW. I still don't understand why. I don't know. I don't know. I know it's what turned us into wrestling fan. I get it. I understand. But it's just too much drama going on. And apparently tomorrow is the media call-ups or whatever. So it's going to be a lot of people. There's a lot of heads that are going to be rolling tomorrow. So brace yourself. Shane McMahon went by himself. We're going to talk about Kendrick Perkins' situation because it was right before the show got started. Apparently, 10 to 12 years ago, Kendrick Perkins. Brian Kendricks. I'm thinking about the basketball player. Brian Kendricks apparently was going on a conspiracy rant talking about 9/11, and then he mentioned the Holocaust being a joke and it wasn't that serious. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't have said no foolishness like that, but it's all about the timing. Ladies and gentlemen, this foolishness has been out. This statement was out 12 plus years ago, 10 to 12 years ago, right? Why the heck didn't nobody say nothing about it while he was under WWE management? The moment he get advertised for AEW, this foolishness just comes out the woodwork. So, Tony Khan, let me tell you something about Tony Khan, man. Tony Khan called himself jumping in front of it. He said, due to the insensitive comments made from Brian Kendricks, we have pulled him from the match, and we will look into this situation. But the matchup of him going against Moxley has been pulled. Moxley will be facing somebody. We'll let you know as soon as possible. Well, when he said that, Foods was coming for his helmet. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and apologize to Big Swole? Everybody was coming for him. I said, well, ladies and gentlemen, what do y'all expect? I want him to apologize as well, but he not. So we just gonna have to move on. But let me tell you something. The timing just showcases that there is a bunch of people that want AEW to fail. They don't care who debut. Anybody that debuts in AEW from here on out, I'm telling you, you better get whatever you got. If you had any videos that you said online, whatever post, you better go scrub everything. Because fools they screenshotting everything these days. These fools got something on everybody. And it's sad. It reminds me of the Pharisees. I'm not trying to go biblical on you all, but it reminds me of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. How they was always looking to feel high and mighty and holier than thou. They was always looking for why such and such was mad and messed up inside. But they always tried to make themselves feel like they was all that in a bag of chips. Like they had no sin with them. That's exactly what these so-called people, I call them the social media police, the cancel culture folk. This is what they do. Because AEW is rivaling WWE, whether fools want to receive that or not. Regardless of how the ratings look, it's rivaling WWE because it's causing a lot of people to cry. It does not matter what AEW does. People are going to be crying. They are going to be on the floor crying. They're going to be complaining. It's like, we gotta make sure this company fail. And this is what they'll do. Anybody that's coming over to AEW, they're going to look up. It's like a dirt sheet. It's like, okay, let's see what they done in the past. Did they say something racist? Did they say something that was buffoonish? Did they say something homophobic? Did they say something that's anti-Semitic? Were they a problem in the back? Did they have a video where they were just being evil and outright. Did they steal something? Did they kill somebody? These fools are going out there and they looking for whatever they can. So the moment when somebody debut on AEW, we got it. We got them. Like, look, this is what they did. Look, this is what he did. This is what she did. And boom, they get pulled out of the way. They don't want AEW to grow. These fools won't be happy until AEW is no longer on television. That's exactly what they want. But they not looking at the foolishness that's going on in WWE. Look at all the buffoonery that's been taking place. Do y'all see what's going on? Do y'all not see what's transpiring in the E? Vince and them don't care no more. He don't give a care. Nick Khan and them doing all kind of buffoonery. They don't care. They can ready to get this thing over to Disney. I'm telling you, in the next year or two, you're gonna hear WWE is selling to Disney. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. They already showed up on the Disney Plus app. But we can't wait for the downfall of AEW. I told you, man, the hatred for AEW is real, ladies and gentlemen. The hatred for this company is real. It's real. And like I said, Tony Khan, a lot of stuff he bring on himself, but I'm rooting for them to succeed in all areas. I'm telling you, AEW continues to do what they need to do. This company is going to be one of the best in the game. It's going to be one of the best in the game. Now, is there anything else I need to talk about before we get into this episode of Dynamite? And by the way, it was live from the backyard. No, I didn't go. We had a snowstorm, and it's apparently supposed to get some more. I wasn't going out that way. I said, nah, I'll just watch the stuff at home. I'm going to be 1,000% with y'all. This was a decent episode, but y'all do know what I'm going to destroy. And I'm going to destroy, you know who. I'm going to destroy these two when I get the chance. I'm going to tear them up. But let's go ahead and break down this show. So, like I said, live from the crib, live from the Chicago Wintrust Arena. So, because Brian Kendrick was pulled, we got Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. This was actually a pretty good opener. I wasn't feeling it because Kendrick got pulled, and so I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna get. Moxley get that ring rust off, and Yuta is getting better in the ring. I just want a character from Yuta. Like, that's the only thing. That's my only problem with Yuta. I feel like I'm not connecting with him. Like, I don't know what his character is. I don't know. Like, OC and Danhouse, we know what they are. They two bozos. We know exactly what they are. But Yuta, I don't know what Yuta is. I don't know. So, but the matchup was great. I thought it was a pretty good match for him. Now with Danhouse being out there, so now it's pretty obvious Danhouse didn't join OC. I mean, what do you have? You got two clowns working together. I mean, perfect. You got one bozo who put his hands in his pocket. Then you got another bozo who just showed up and he called himself put curses and hypnotizing folk because he do this goofy thing where he stretches one arm out and put the other arm back. It's almost like he's trying to hypnotize you, whatever. There was a scene where him and Moxley got into it, and he did that same thing where he looked like he was trying to hypnotize Moxley, which caused Yuta to jump on top of him and everything. But to make a long story short, you already knew what was going to happen. Paradigm shift happened. 1, 2, 3, Moxley gets the victory. So they dip out, right? Well, next thing you know, Moxley is standing there, and then next thing, right next door, who's standing right next to him? The Bryan Danielson. And he's looking at him. He got a mic in his hand. He's looking at him. And he talks about how it's good to see him. It's good you're back. And he talked about, let me go ahead. I'm just going to read this. I don't want to misinterpret anything. This is what he had to say. Pops up in the ring, grins, Mox. Oh, and the best part about this, outside of what Brian was saying, is Moxley's facial expressions. His facial expressions told the whole story that Brian was trying to tell, what the interactions or what he was trying to throw across. So he said, do you guys want to see us fight? They said, yeah. Brian says for a long time, he wanted to see them fight too. Moxley was different. He wanted to see what he had, but we seen a new John Moxley. He was watching him as the AEW champion, and Danielson said he was the best AEW world champion if he had a little support. He think he would still be AEW world champion right now. Let me tell you something. If I had to rank all the champions, Jericho did what he had to do to get AEW established, but Moxley took the mold. And even though Moxley had the title during the pandemic, you know what? Listen, Brian might be right. Brian might be right. Moxley might be the best AEW, even though now Heyman's still doing something, so his reign ain't over yet. So I can't even make that judgment. But between the three, Moxley, Kenny, Jericho. Like, if you want to rank them, like you can switch Jericho and Kenny around. You can put Jericho number 2, and you can put Kenny as number 3, because I think what killed Kenny was the fact that even though the pandemic was still on and we were still getting to bringing fans back, they wasn't able to do what they really wanted to do. And the whole Impact thing, they wanted to include everybody from New Japan too, but the New Japan stuff fell through because they was painting this thing out, Kenny Thanos, right? So they was finna have him try to go gather all the titles. But the moment he lost the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, then I'm like, okay, his title reign must be getting ready to come to a close. You know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking this fool was going to have 6 titles. I was thinking he was going to get the couple of titles. He was going to get the NWA Championship, and then he was going to go over there and get the New Japan World Championship. So that was a total of 6 championships that he would have been running around with, and wasn't nobody going to be able to stop him until the time called for. But due to the pandemic, I think that's kind of what killed this whole thing. They wanted to do so much more with it, and plus Kenny was hurt. Kenny was wrestling with all kind of crazy injuries. That's why I don't want to see him back. Listen, if you want to, Kenny can take the whole year off. All I care. I don't have to see Kenny until 2023. This man can rest his body for a whole year. Let his body get, but he coming back. More than likely, he'll be back for either Double or Nothing or All Out. But if I'm him, I'm trying to get my body ready for a full year. Like, let me get a rest. Let me rest my body for a full year so I can come back and give Matt classes like I always do. But Brian started talking about possibly him and Moxley being AEW Tag Team Champions, him being World Heavyweight Championship, all this stuff. Then he started name dropping folk. So he went down the list. He mentioned Lee Moriarty. He mentioned Wheeler Yuta. He mentioned Daniel Garcia, Dante Martin. So a lot of people are starting to speculate that Brian is maybe starting his own stable. We don't know what they're doing, but I'm intrigued. See, for me, I told you, if you want to get me, you got to intrigue me. You got to get me interested in what you're trying to sell. If you can't get me interested, I ain't going to give a rat's behind about what you're trying to present. I'm serious. That's just how I am when it comes to wrestling. I feel like I've been this way for a long time. Like, you got to intrigue me. Since if I'm quote unquote considered a wrestling head, you got to intrigue me. And what they was trying to sell is great. So after all this, he wanted him to give him an answer. He just looked at him. He didn't say anything. He said, "We know what?" He said, "Come back to me." He said, "We'll talk about this some other time. I'll let you think about it." So a lot of people online was like, man, Bryan Danielson trying to start a stable and all that stuff, right? So we went from 2 excellent segments to this buffoonery right here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I tell y'all all the time, I like Brandy Rose. I respect the woman. I believe she's a very fine woman. Cody Rhodes is a blessed man. That's all I got to say. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you right now, I do not need to see Brandy Rose on TV no more. I don't. If she comes, she just stand by her dude. Brandy Rose succeeds when she becomes a meme. Every time she becomes a meme, it's always great. Every meme she's been, it's been great. Like when she becomes a meme, that just seems to be her strong suit. Whatever this foolishness was between her and Dan, the fans turned Brandy into the heel, and they turned Dan Lambert into the babyface. And our crowd, Chicago is a tough wrestling crowd. They told her to shut the F up, and she couldn't really recover. She looked like she just wanted to walk up out of there. And I felt bad for her because you already know. Listen, listen, man. I do not like to go this route, but I can't help myself. You already know. Anytime people have an opportunity to go at black women, they will go at black women and they won't give a care. And there was some, they was, listen. And like I say, the heat that Brandy was getting is not the heat that you want. It's the get the heck off my TV, I'm not trying to see you. And that's what TK and Cody and them gonna have to, they gotta sit. And it's sad because I know TK is quote unquote trying his best to quote unquote do the diversity thing. This ain't it, dude. This ain't it. This is setting us back. When I say get us right, this ain't getting us right. This is setting us back. I'm serious. I'm what the heck? I don't even know what they was talking about. They was just like, where the heck is this going? It's like this whole segment was a waste of time. So she mentioned one of his girls, Paige Van Zandt or whatever her name is. She come out. She ran in the ring. Then her and Brandy started fighting. Then the whole locker room came in there and they was starting to brawl. And I was like, what? I don't know what this is about to result in. I hope this ain't gonna result into no 5 versus 5 team Brandy versus team. I don't want to see that. I don't. This is, like I said, it's the two things going on. It's we got to get more women on television. I'm like, listen, you got so many multiple feuds going on with the ladies right now that matter. Focus on them. You don't have to throw everybody else on TV. Remember what I said. Everybody and their mama don't need to be on television. I don't care who they are. Brandy is one of them. She don't need to be on TV. This is not helping our cause. We want AEW to do great. Yes, this is Black History Month, and kudos to them because they got a new album that they dropping, and they got a host of artists that's hooking up with a lot of the black wrestlers to tell their story. Kudos to AEW on that. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say is, you got to get us right. And doing this foolishness ain't getting us right. This is setting us back. This is making us come out here, we looking like buffoons on a regular basis. This is some shucking and jiving foolishness. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it. And I hate it for Brandy because she thinks this is excellent. This is not great. This is foolishness. And Dan ain't coming out looking good either. And the only line that Brandy said that got everybody that was like, okay, it said the only reason we brought you in these pages is because we trying to get close to Josh Alexander, which pretty soon he's a free agent. So AEW swallowed, like, bring him on. You know, like I say, Dan, he tried his best, but like I say, the slut shaming and all this stuff is just, it's not popping. This is not great. It ain't going nowhere. This stuff ain't going anywhere. It's not. They can make you think it's going somewhere, but this mess ain't going nowhere. And this bet not be on a Revolution. I don't need to see this foolishness on no doggone Revolution. Keep this foolishness off. Look, this the type of crap that should belong on dark only, not on TV. Because listen, y'all want to build your artists. You're not trying to have people turn the TV off. I say, man, come on, man. Why? I hate it, man, because I'm like, dog, listen, y'all. I tell y'all all the time, I do not like to come on here and bash them, but I come on here and I tell you the honest to God truth. When something that they trying to present ain't coming off right, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, man, this is excellent. No, it's not. I seen some cat that I follow. He talk about, am I the only guy that's liking this Brandy Rose stuff? I said, man, dude, listen, you on some other stuff. So anyway, that's that segment. So backstage, we got Matt Hardy and the HFO featuring Andrade, and Matt Hardy's talking, and he said Sammy Guerrero has put his title on the line, and I have decided to pick Isaiah Cassidy. Isaiah Cassidy will face him on Rampage for the TNT Championship. And then that's when Andrade walked out. He said, hey, what happened? You guys are supposed to be my biggest investor, and you lost. What's going on? Matt Hardy looked at that man and he shook him. I'm talking about Isaiah. And he said, you bet not let me down. Ladies and gentlemen, the dispatch of the HFO will start with Private Party finally being let go of the HFO family starting on Rampage. Private Party don't need to be with Matt no more. They've been under his wing all this time. It was cool when Matt went against Sammy on the at the pay-per-view when they did the what was it, the crazy match, because it was the rematch. It was the what do you call it? It's the cinematic match. The cinematic match. It was great. That was excellent. That was fine. But ever since then, they haven't done anything. So this right here tells me that Private Party will no longer be with Matt Hardy, and that is great because they don't need to be with that man no more. They just don't. So Andrade was like, I still need to talk with Darby Allin. I need to talk with Sting. Listen, whatever they plan on doing, I'm all in for it. I'm cool with that. But the disbanding of HFO needs to take place. Every member, all of them, the Butcher, the Blade, the Bunny, everybody needs to disband. Matt Hardy needs to just be by himself. When Jeff show up, let us get one more Hardy Boys run, final Hardy Boys run at the tag team titles, one more, and then we have Private Party dethrone them. That's how it's gonna work. So we get to part 2, match 2, Pentagon L0, aka Pentagon Jr., Medio, and Pac with the blindfold on, featuring the House of Black Boys. That's Malachi Black and Brody King. These two came out looking like they just left a Freemason party, hanging out with the devil. That's what they look like. And then that's when these cats came out. Pac looked like he left that same Mason party with the doggone blindfold on. He had Alex Abrahantes leading him out there because he had his hand on the shoulder helping him out. Now, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he can see through that and he's going to wrestle with it. Like, that's my mindset. I'm thinking he had the blindfold thing on. Nope. He was able to see the whole time. He took it off. See, this whole match was about mind games. Pac, Malachi Black, and everybody was playing mind games throughout the whole match. From what I was able to pay attention to. Mind games to the highest order. And with the mind games, Pac and Penta kind of was getting the best of Brody King and Malachi Black. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is just my personal take. This is no knock against Brody King. I'm not feeling the guy. I don't know. Like I said, I got to see more. This is no knock against him. I think he's a good wrestler, but I'm not feeling the guy. I'm just not. I'm trying to get into what he's bringing. Like Malachi Black is great. I'm trying to get into his tag team partner and what this whole House of Black stuff is. Like I can say, because I'm watching them, and so many people that I know, they hardcore fans of this cat. Me, I'm watching this dude, and I'm like, like personally, like what's so special about this cat? He can move and all that and everything, but I'm like, I really don't see it. Now, like I said, I'm just getting used to the cat right now. Maybe as time moves on, because I guarantee you they will be AEW Tag Team Champions. You don't bring this cat on because this was his tag team partner in the independent scene. And a lot of people are high on this cat. A lot of people, they love Brody King. Me, I got to see more of this cat. This ain't no knock against him. I'm not disrespecting him in no way. This is just a honest personal take that I have from the couple of matches I've seen him in. And I'm saying to myself, okay, is there anything else that this young man can bring to the table? Because I just don't see it. I don't see the craze like how everybody else do. I don't see it. But maybe he can prove me wrong as we move forward into this whole House of Black thing. Malachi Black is great because I always been on this dude. I look when he was Aleister Black. Even though, like I said, I don't care for the satanic gimmicks. It's only one clown that got the satanic gimmick over. One clown. And that fool is still in the WWE. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's the only fool. Actually, it was two. The other dude is a mayor now. The other dude's a mayor. And the other cat is still signed with the E, even though he quote unquote retired. Technically, he ain't retired because Vince McMahon want him to come back too. I'm talking about Undertaker. They are the only two bozos that got the satanic gimmick over. Malachi Black somewhat is getting it over, but I need more. I need to see more of Brody King for me. I need to see more. But this was actually a pretty decent tag team match. Pac, Penta, y'all know what you're going to get for them. They're going to be doing all kind of shenanigans and flipping all over the place and doing all this mess. But Pentagon wasn't paying no attention. He got distracted by Brody King, and Malachi spit the black mist in his face. Referee ain't pay no attention. They did their tag team match on him. This is called the Dante's Inferno. 1, 2, 3, match over. Backstage, we got a ticked off Adam Cole. Now, for the fools who've been coming at my boy Adam Cole, they've been coming at him. Listen, y'all, you talking to a cat who was this is how I felt about Adam Cole. Adam Cole proved to me that he was an excellent wrestler in NXT. Even though I wasn't a fan of his, but I always said the boy could wrestle his tail off. The moment he come to AEW, everybody just hating on him. He was hating. I didn't hate on the man in AEW. I just wasn't a fan. But I respect what he did in the ring, because I never said he couldn't wrestle. Every match he had over in NXT was off the chain. Just about. The only matches that I didn't feel was the matchup he had with Kyle. That was about it. I liked every other match that he had. But the him and Kyle matches, the first one was decent, but everything else kind of was like, you know what, I'll pass on that. But him, the Gargano matches, the Ciampa matches, the Keith Lee matches, unfortunately, Patrick Clark, I ain't calling him by his wrestling name, I'm calling him by his real name. Y'all know who Patrick Clark is. Got caught up in the whole quote-unquote pedophile game, if that's what you want to call it. The matches he had with him was great. What was the boy name? Because he a free agent. Cross stuff was decent. But like I said, the moment he come to AEW, it just seems like the hate just came with him. Oh, he's not over. Oh, he's a jobber. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. Let me tell you something. The man is here hanging out with his homies. He got his woman on his right side. The man is living life. That's how I knew he was coming. I knew. And let me tell you something. For fools that was calling him a clown, you want to know why he was a clown? It's because he was hanging out with clowns. The Young Bucks, they turned into circus clowns. Brandon Cutler, you know how he get down. Kenny Omega, even though he was supposed to be the guy, the one-wing angel, Mr. Thanos, as I call him, Kenny Thanos, he turned into a clown. Adam Cole turned into a clown. And then what the heck happened? He started beefing with a clown known as OC. And beating OC, even though the man had an undefeated streak, and he mentioned it. He said, still got an undefeated streak, and putting up with this clown Orange Cassidy. Now it's funny, he did not mention the guy that OC is not tight with, because he cost him the match that he said it's not even on my records. And he said the moment once I finally come back to the ring, I'm going to let y'all know exactly what I want. After I beat the snot out of Evil Uno. Ticked off Adam Cole, ladies and gentlemen, the class that y'all been wanting for is back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't no more circus stuff going on right now. Even though he just got through from dealing with a clown, and he got another clown that's right in the wings. Ladies and gentlemen, the matchup between him and Adam Page will happen in Revolution. You mark my words. I'm just telling y'all right now. It's going to happen. But, hey, he said what he had to say. But I was ended up laughing to myself. I said, man, you just got through from dealing with a circus clown. And you got a new circus clown that's hanging out with that circus clown. I'm like, you know, to each his own. But I do see the hatred that constantly comes to this man. People hate on this man so much. They hate on him. They hate on Britt. They even try to compare Bianca and Montez and all that stuff. I don't even do that. I think both of them are great wrestling couples and everything. You know, but like I said, that's what everybody do. Everybody always trying to put one over the other. I'm like, why can't we celebrate both? Why? No, we can't do that. We can't. We either gotta love one and hate the other. That's how it is. I told you, this tribalism mindset that's so deep in wrestling is insane. It's crazy. No, like I said, for me, the reason I don't mess with the E is it's got nothing to do with the wrestlers. I never hate on the wrestlers over in the E. It is that garbage clown that don't know how to run his company anymore. It's that buffoon. That's who I don't like. That's why I don't mess with it. He ain't got nothing to do with it. And then, yeah, when he put the stuff on, it's like, I can't. I try to look at it, and it's like, no. But it ain't a tribalism thing with me, because I see a whole bunch of cats that like both. If you like both, that's great. I ain't got no issue with that. For me, that ain't my cup of tea. All right. Match number 3. Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho, Vicky Guerrero. Now, ringside is the cat that does her music. His name is Rancid Lars. I didn't know who he was. Rancid Lars Frickerson, who does her music. He was sitting ringside. Let me tell you something. Chicago to yesterday, because it's early in the morning now. It was half and half. So they were allowed. I think the Brandy Rose stuff kind of killed them because they were so, they was loud, but it kind of killed the vibe for the rest of the show. And the tag team match kind of had to hype them up. Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho was very good. It started off slow, but what caught me off guard was the finish. I had it myself like, I know Ruby gonna win this. I know she's going to win this match. Like, they trying to rebuild her, right? No. Nyla Rose, when she said what she said on Dynamite last week, she wasn't lying. She was not lying. Came out there, said what she was gonna do, and got the win. I said, wait a minute, what? Nyla Rose won, Ruby lost? I'm like, ain't we supposed to be building Ruby? Like, what the heck is going on? I don't know. I don't know what we doing with Ruby Soho. I don't know. Because y'all remember me. I was the main one that was saying that TBS championship was Ruby's to lose. Now, it seems like she just been losing like crazy. And they don't really have no type of momentum or nothing. So I don't know what they doing with her. I don't know. Then we got this dumbass segment. So I know what they doing. So backstage, you had the Gun Boys. They, just randomly walk up and who just chilling in the hallway? Jungle Boy. And so they say some stuff to him. And then Jungle Boy, he pushed the one and you already know it's 3-on-1. They beat him up. They take him outside, throw him outside in the snow and all that mess. It's freezing cold outside. They throw him in there. They do the moveset, throw him all in the snow and all this stuff, and leave him out there to freeze. And then after he got jumped, both Luchasaurus and Christian show up extremely late. So obviously, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to hype up the matchup that we get ready to get with them. Also, telling a somewhat storyline, because I told you, something is going to have to break. The friction between Jurassic Express and Christian is going to have to break. So you can constantly say that the reason why cats aren't tight anymore in the group is because cats always be late or never be around when one of the members is getting jumped. The boys weren't around when Christian got beat up. This time, they weren't around when Jungle Boy got beat up. So it's almost like it's a friction going on amongst all of them, even though everybody's on the same page right now. But as we move forward, that's going to be the driving force that's going to cause somebody in the group to go heel. I'm telling you right now, that's what's going to be the driving force. It's going to be the fact that every time when they get jumped, somebody's not there. That's what the storyline is going to be. I believe that's what we're going. So we get Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he says he's want to talk with Hangman. Hangman comes out looking like a confident man, looking like he's ready. He said, I'm ready to beat the brakes off Lance, and I'm ready to tear him up, and whatever it means, whatever it has to do, and beat the cowboy ass out of him and all this stuff. Then here come Dan Lambert and Jake the Snake Roberts. They come out there, start talking some junk, and let me tell you something, man. Listen, I didn't watch WWF back in the day, the golden era, because Jake the Snake Roberts, he was a part of the golden era, and he was in the last little bit of the new generation. I think he was like right at the I think he was like right there. I think he left like right before the new generation, or maybe he was still there. I don't know. If for the people who watched WWF back in the day, that's a part of my chat or whatever, or part of my channel. Tell me how long Jake the Snake Roberts worked for the WWF from the golden era days to the new generation era days. Tell me in the chat how long he was there. Was he there for the beginning of the new generation era, or did he dip out right before the new generation era took place? But listen, I know he's getting up there, but my man always be cutting some of the... Dude can talk his tail off. He can talk. So he was starting to talk on the mic, and then Lance came out the woodwork, took the mic out and said, "Look, here, we ain't gotta wait. Listen, you said you don't want to wait, because that's exactly what Heyman said. He said, I don't have to wait for next week. I want to beat the brakes off for you right now. So Lance, you get your butt out here right now. Let's fight." So he said, "Yeah, you want to fight me now? Let's go." He came out there, ran in the ring, they started jumping each other. Heyman tried to get a couple of moonsets in, and I call this the initiation. When you made it into wrestling, period, doesn't matter if it's WWE, Impact, New Japan Wrestling, AEW, you always find a way to go through the steel steps. Well, Lance Archer wouldn't got the steel steps. He threw Heyman through him. I said, hey, Heyman made it. Heyman is now an official wrestler. He has officially made it. I've called this. I don't know what it is, but it seems like you got to go through the steel steps. If you want to be so-called a big name in wrestling, you must go through the initiation. The initiation is to either get slammed through a steel step or go through it. And that's exactly what he did to him. Laid that man out, and there you have it. So next week we get in the Texas Death Match between these two to determine who's going to be the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. We know Lance ain't winning. Let me tell you something. I think as of right now, this is the role that Lance is playing. His role is he won't win. As of right now, I'm not saying he in the future, but as of right now, he ain't winning no titles. His job is to be the guy to feud in between. He's like the buffer to get you to whoever cats are going to feud with going into the pay-per-view. That's his role. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, my man just getting back from the head injury, from the neck injury that took place about, 2 months ago? I think it was about 2 months ago. When he tried to flip and landed on his head. But, it is what it is. So, that's that. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, can I get my props? What did I say in the review last week? I told you exactly what Chris Jericho was going to do and what he was going to say about Santana and Ortiz. Now, this was the best Chris Jericho has sounded in a long time. I don't know what happened to this man. Chris Jericho used to be one of the best on the mic. Now, he kind of fell off. This promo was great, but everything he said is exactly what I said last week. He said next week we're going to have what I say, that meeting. And you guys are going to have to explain to yourselves why you didn't tag me in. Does Eddie Kingston have some type of tie that you all aren't sharing with me? You're going to have to let me know. Are you really in the inner circle or you're not? Next week, I told y'all what was going to happen. I told you. I said this in the review last week. I said, watch Jericho come out and say, we're going to have a council meeting or something. And that's exactly what we're having. We're having this meeting to determine, is the inner circle alive or is the inner circle dead? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the inner circle. It's the end. Sammy doing his own thing. Jake Hager, whatever he want to do. Jericho do his own thing. It's time for Santana and Ortiz to start getting back serious and being a serious threat into the AEW Tag Team Championship picture. It's time. The inner circle did what they were supposed to do. They welcomed everybody into AEW. That's what the inner circle was to do in year 1. We are in year 3 now. Year 3 is here. We don't need the inner circle no more. Every one of these cats can do their own thing. Jericho can go away for a while. Like, we really don't even need Jericho right now. We don't even need him on commentary because he be sitting over there sounding extremely silly on Rampage. He just sounding like a straight up clown on a regular basis. I was like, I thought the first week, I thought Jericho was decent, but as of late, this man, I don't even know. I don't think commentary is in his blood. Like, I thought he was decent for the couple of times he would, find himself on Dynamite, but being on Rampage, I'm like, no. Jericho, I think you need to take a long break. Go away. Like I said, bro, we don't need you right now. You did what you were supposed to do. Get AEW's footing. Get a firm footing for AEW. That's exactly what you did. We don't need you right now. We don't. So, now, let me tell you something about tonight. Tonight, pacing was kind of an issue. The timing, the pacing, it was a big time issue. Big time issue tonight. That's another thing. I told you, Tony and them gonna have to get this timing stuff right. It's year 3 now, sir. You got to get this timing stuff right. You got to. This ain't even no more excuse. The excuses are out. Y'all have been on TV for 3 years now. It's time to get this stuff right. It's time. MJF versus CM Punk. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. This was a old school match to the bone. Let me tell you something. CM Punk was making MJF look like a rookie again. But then MJF picked it up and the two of them went out there and tore each other up. The story of this match was about CM Punk's knee. That's what this matchup was about. Now, the one thing about CM Punk matches, he's been paying homage to Bret Hart. He's been paying homage to, before he changed his name to X-Pac, he was known as the 1-2-3 Kid during the New Generation era. He's paid, once again, he paid homage to Bret Hart and Diesel, a.k.a. Kevin Nash. Every match he's had with folk, it's been a throwback to the old school. So it seemed like CM Punk is a huge fan of the New Generation era. That's what it seemed like. Obviously, he always pays homage to Bret Hart because he loves Bret Hart. And that's what a lot of people been peeping about his matches. And the crowd, y'all already know. Yeah, they ate this match up. They ate it up. Now, what took place, right? So, towards the first, because I thought this was going to be the end. The ref, Bryce wasn't even paying attention. MJF had got some kind of strap thing, and he was using it to choke CM Punk. He used it to choke the mess out of him. And it put him to sleep. So Bryce raised his arm, 1, 2, 3. So I'm like, okay, so we finished the matchup, right? But then Bryce caught the strap thing right next to MJF's foot. So I'm like, are we going the Jericho route that we got it all out when he got caught cheating? Yep, that's exactly what they did. Got caught cheating. Bryce said, we're going to rerun this back. Restart the match. I said, oh, we doing the same thing. I said, oh, man. So they get through going, and CM Punk did this move. I don't know. People, they called it the Pepsi plunge. It looked like a pedigree. It do. So a lot of people say, oh, he was taking a shot at Triple H. Now, I don't know, because apparently they said he was doing this move back in Ring of Honor back in 2005. That's what everybody was saying. But listen, the stuff that was taking place in this match, the fact that we got this on TV, and listen, I seen some clowns say that this match was trash. No, this is the match that saved the show. This match literally saved the show for being a complete dud. And I said all the matches so far was decent, but this match alone practically saved the show. And listen, yeah, I know a lot of people, people don't understand. We get so used to the flips and dives. We get used to the kicks here, move here, somebody jumping off something. That's what we get used to. We don't appreciate old school mat wrestling. And that's the one thing I got to give a kudos to both of these cats. MJF, I told you, MJF has been impressing me since the matchup he had with Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy was the first match that actually said, okay, MJF got something. He got something right here. Then come along again, and the second match he had with Jericho was off the chain. I think it was the second, but the second or third match. It's the one before the pay-per-view, because I think that should have been it. Yeah, it was the third match. That match was off the chain. Then he had that 5-star classic with none other than the homeboy Darby Allin. I said, okay, MJF is the real deal. MJF is the real deal. You got to give this dude on 25 years old, you got to give this young man props. You got to give him props. You have to. I couldn't be on the hate train no more, because I was like, man, who this fool? Look, he a great talker, but he can't wrestle himself out of the bag. Oh, man, he been proving me wrong ever since. Dude been proving me wrong for real. And the fact that he got in there with his idol, you don't understand that he loved the mess out of CM Punk. He loves CM Punk. Y'all, you seen that Goofy Man picture he took way back in the day where he just looked like some bum on the streets? Funny how he called him a bum. He looked like some Goofy Man bum. He took a picture with CM Punk years ago. Man, he was out there having fun. He like, I'm in the ring with the guy that turned me into a wrestling fan. And what did CM Punk do? CM Punk didn't put him over once. Let's talk about it. The finish. As we got close. Oh, and they kind of went over time, too. They kind of went over time. I was like, wow. I said, oh, Dynamite starting to turn into old school Monday Night Raw. Back when when it was the Attitude Era, when they would be going off like 2:15 or whatever, it went off like 9:05. I said, oh, they give him a little extra time on TBS. I see, kudos to them. Here come Wardlow. I said, oh no. What's Wardlow's mission? What is he doing? Wardlow come out there. Him and CM Punk looking at each other. And he looked at the man. And then he turned away. But then he came right back and jumped right into the man's face. And then he walked off again. And then he just watched everything. He watched carefully. So Bryce is too busy looking at what's going on outside the ring, that he's not paying attention to the sneaky, conniving, son of a gun clown, MJF, pulling that doggone diamond ring out of his pouch or whatever. Put it on. Knocks the mess out of Punk. And gets the 1, 2, 3. And as he was pinning him, I saw it. MJF did the same thing that Rollins did to Roman at WrestleMania 31. He thanked the man. He said, thank you. I saw it. I called him. I said, yeah, he is. Yeah, you better thank him. The man put the man over. That is what, and I knew it. It wasn't no shocker. I don't know what food they was on the top about. Will MJF shock the world? Shock the world what? And he did what he had to do because the crowd was heated. They was mad as heck, which is the job that he was supposed to do. That's the real heel heat. The difference between that and the foolishness that Brandy and them was trying. That's not heel heat. That's go away heat. That's what I don't like. This right here was perfect. It even had me feeling some kind of way because I was sitting there right. Like, dang, this fool cheated again. Like, god dang. But that's the name of the game. That's what I'm talking about. That's called excellent storytelling. That's great. Kudos to TK and them. Kudos to MJF. Kudos to CM Punk. Now we look at the rebuilding of CM Punk. Because he lost to the man. How does he rebuild himself? Where do we go from this? Now, a lot of people are already calling for the rematch of Revolution. Pump the brakes. Let this match breathe. I don't need to see no rematches right now. Let them go them separate ways. You can have MJF talking all kind of bulljive. CM Punk, we don't even need CM Punk right now. CM Punk can take 2 weeks off if he needs to take 2 weeks off. Let him use this as time to heal. Like, he can sell the knee situation. He can sell getting knocked out by let him sell it. Sell it for about a couple of weeks. Then he finally makes his return to address what happened. He took his first loss in AEW and he gave it to the future. The future of AEW, the future of this business is that young man MJF right there. Maxwell Jacob Freeman. That's what you do. This is what the E needs. They need to learn how to do. Because WWE don't know how to do that. They don't. We got to call Brock back. We got to call Ronda back. We don't even know how to push Charlotte. We really don't know what we're doing with Becky anymore, but that's all we know how to do. Meanwhile, we don't know how to book Bianca. We don't know how to book Mandy Rose. We don't know how to book Liv Morgan. We don't know how to book nobody. We can't book a Big E. We don't know how to book nobody. We just don't. This is what I'm talking about. This was great. I felt everything. Like I said, watching it is old. See, a lot of people. The reason why a lot of people don't like these type of matches is because they want. This is what they want. So many people are caught up with the WWE type of wrestling, where you get a match that's like 2 minutes long, and the person that shouldn't go over goes over. That's what they like, or a bunch of flips and that. Like, no, that's not. This is Matt classic wrestling. If you like wrestling, you're gonna like a match like this. Ain't no flips and dives. Ain't nobody doing all this buffoonery. They just going out there giving you a Matt classic. And the buffoonery did take place. MJF with the cheating and all that nonsense. Yeah. But that's what it is. It called for. It was great. But you can tell Wardlow didn't want to do what he did. And that's all part of the situation that's going to make Wardlow that much a big of a star when he turns babyface. See, they can't do it right now. because MJF ain't the champion. Once he becomes champion, then you can go that route. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my honest to God review about yesterday's Dynamite episode. Like I said, the show was decent, but like I said, man, timing, the foolishness I told you about with Brandy and Dan Lambert, we got to get this stuff right. We got to get this right. This is year 3. Come on. People be talking about, oh, look at it. Like, you want to grow your audience. You don't want people to turn the TV off. That's the name of the game. You want to grow. And like I say, the main event was excellent. It was great. I ain't got no issues whatsoever. Like I said, it had me feeling some kind of way because I was sitting there like, dang, this fool won again. He cheated again. But it called for it because he's MJF. Then he posted on Twitter, might be the second city, but I beat this bum twice. Yeah, you beat him twice. You had to cheat to do it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this your boy Caseyfield King Self for Life. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Hit the like button. I appreciate everybody who be commenting. Tell me how you felt about the show. What's your thoughts about Shane being released? Tell me all that. Even talk about the Brian Kendrick situation. How you felt about that situation. I told you how I felt about it. Like, yeah, he was wrong with 2 left shoes, but that happened 12 some years ago. Wildcats going up, digging up old stuff just because they want to hurt somebody, just because they don't want nobody to succeed somewhere else. You was cool with him being under WWE with this foolishness being out there. The moment he says he wants to come to AEW, you going to put this foolishness up there because you don't want AEW to grow. You don't want AEW to change the landscape, and that's what they're trying to do. You want WWE to still dominate. That's what it is. See, people are cool with misery. They say misery loves company, and these fools that hate AEW, they love misery, and they miserable until they bring somebody else in. So anyway, y'all, this is your boy Caseyfield King Self for Life. Next time you hear me will be the Rampage review if I get it. Like I said, y'all know a lot of times I don't be able to do it on Fridays like I used to, but if I get it done on Friday, I will. If not, expect it Saturday or Sunday. It's your boy Caseyfield King Self for Life. I'll let your boy.